Hi, I'm Brian from Downsview Long-Term Care. I'm just going to give you a quick review of our fire panel on how the operation works with it. In the event of a fire alarm at Downsview Long-Term Care, occasionally the fire department will ask you to go down to the basement to do a reset of the fire panel. In the event that the fire is clear and they've deemed it clear, in order to get to the fire panel, it is in the electrical room in the basement. There is a key lock on the outside. It's a door coded key, and the code is posted on the door itself, and the key is in the box above it in case the door code doesn't work. You can get into it manually. Once you enter the electrical room, you'll see a fire panel to your left once you walk in, and it's a Miracom fire panel system. And in order to reset the panel, the number one thing you should always remember is never reset the fire panel unless you're authorized by the fire department to do so. In that case, the fire department will advise you or someone on the unit to please go down to the fire panel and make a hard reset of the panel so that they can see if it clears during a fire alarm. Usually fire alarms will go off due to smoke or water damage or a failed unit that's on the system, and it will create a fire alarm on the panel itself. Usually the fire alarms will appear in this zone or this zone here. Typically you'll see a red light that lights up, and that will indicate the zone where the fire panel is. And the fire panel here on the digital display will display the location of the fire panel. So once the fire alarm is going off, this will be beeping and making a lot of noise here. And what happens is you'll have to do a reset of the system. Whenever we have a fire alarm that does go off, it will also trigger the magnetic locks that control the door locks in the facility to disengage or go off. When that happens, this light on the mag locks will turn off. It will be blank. What happens when the fire alarm goes off and they require a hard reset, they're going to ask you to press system reset here. When you do, you press and hold for a second, let go. At that time, the fire panel should clear. If it doesn't clear, we'll get into the next steps of that. So if it does clear, you're good to return back to normal. At that point, once it's done a reset, it should be quiet here. You're then going to proceed down here and turn this back and forth twice until this light lights up red. That means the magnetic locks will restore. Then you're going to come over here to the panel, which sends a signal to the monitoring station. Similar to your home alarm system, you would just press 1, 2, 3, 4, and that will clear this system and stop the signal from going to the monitoring. All of the system should be clear at that point. The mag should be on and the system should be working. Then we restore back to normal. The fire department will then at that point leave this facility. If for some reason this does not clear, it's going to go back into alarm. The fire department may then at that point say, can you please contact your fire service provider to do a repair on the system? And then this time we want you to go on a bypass or a silent. So what we have to do at that point then is, rather than doing a reset again, you're going to press relays, which disengages the mag locks and allows you to turn the mags back on to the building so the doors can close. And also you're going to press signals, which will turn off the bells to the facility and stop the ringing. Once this is done, you're going to hear still a beeping on the system here. You're going to press TBL, trouble. And what that's going to do is it's going to quiet the panel, and it's going to quiet the annunciator panels that are on the units beeping, and it will put the system on a silent mode. When it's in silent mode, it's wonderful because you're not hearing any bells ringing off. But at the same time, you have to understand that with the system in silent and bypass mode, you no longer have any fire protection in the building. So if there is any other fires that activate on the system, you will not know about it. You have to contact the fire department directly by calling 911. Okay. Once this is in bypass mode, your number one thing that you have to do is call the monitoring station and inform them that we are on bypass, and give them a time. So if the fire were to happen at night or the evenings, you would bypass it till the following day around 8 or 9 in the morning, and immediately contact maintenance department to let them know that we are on bypass because we have a faulty system, and they will call in Onyx Fire to come in and do the repairs on the system. You always have to remember to call the monitoring, because if you do not call the monitoring and this does go back into alarm, the minute the fire department leaves, they will return again and they will send a fine to the facility for continuous nuisance calls. Once the system is in bypass mode, you also now have to install what's called a fire watch on the units. There is a binder at each nursing station called Fire Log or Fire Watch. You have to document every hour a complete manual check of the facility, saying that you've looked around and there is no fire, there is no signs of smoke. And the fire department will require to see those logs when they return to follow up on our repairs. Typically, they will return within a day or two to find out if we did the repairs and everything is in good working order. If we're in this mode here, you have to also call the fire department themselves. So after you've called the monitoring and you've let them know that we want to go on a bypass for a particular amount of time, you also have to inform the fire department, call them and let them know that we are on bypass as well, and they'll document it so that they know. At that point, you got to continue to watch the facility to make sure there is no signs of fire, and you also have to watch that there's nothing that sparks up and that you get the repairs done in a timely manner. When you are on bypass, you have to follow the same steps as well. So once you've done relays and signals, you're going to come back down to the magnetic folders, do the double turn for a reset until this light comes back on.
Turn this side?
Back and forth twice.
Oh, back and forth twice?
Then you're going to go to the fire panel and 1, 2, 3, 4, and that will reset the monitoring as well. At that point, it should be clear. It'll be quiet. This will be flashing and lighting up, but you won't hear any noise, and you'll be able to use the megalocks.
Okay.
And that's typically how the fire system works. That's it. Okay.
So this is the key, right?
Yeah, key is here. Yeah. There are instructions here. Fire panel operations. There's a map of the facility with some door codes. And there's a screwdriver here for resetting the pull stations as well. And that's it.
That's it for now.
That's it. Bye-bye.